I another woman to better our relationship. Why are we trying to blame the victim in here? This actually has me speechless. Hi babes, how are you doing? My name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit, and today we have a fun theme. I know I say it every single time, but they are always fun, so whatever. And yeah, what we're doing today is looking at people who do something very questionable and then have absolutely no remorse. So without further ado, let's just gather our patience and dive in. So the first one is my 27 boyfriend, 28, slept with another woman and claims I wanted him to. My hands are shaking, so sorry if there are typos. I don't know if I'll be able to explain what just happened. I'm in a hotel room right now, just falling apart. I live with my boyfriend, Jack. We've been together 2 years. The relationship has been good. Sex is frequent, we say I love you often, and both of us participate in the other's family functions. I don't have any major complaints, and to my knowledge, he hasn't been unhappy. I'm deeply in love with him. I came home today about an hour early. I had started to get a migraine at work, which isn't super unusual, and once I started to get nauseated, I decided I should just go home and lie down. It doesn't happen a ton, but maybe a few times a year where I decide to take the afternoon off. My boyfriend works nights, so is often home during the day. Pulled in the driveway and his car was there. Not unusual, he doesn't work until the evening. Parked on the street out front like I always do, you can't really hear the car from the distance unless you're really listening, and went in the apartment. The bedroom is on the far side of the apartment from where I came in, so you usually can't hear a key in the lock or anything, especially with the air conditioning on. It was. I said hello as I came in, but could immediately hear that the air conditioning was on in the bedroom. It's a separate window unit and pretty loud. I opened the door to say hello to Jack, and there he is, right in the middle of having sex with a girl, doggy style. They both froze and she looked really shocked. He was just sort of expressionless. She immediately sort of scrambled for the sheets, but he just sat there. I guess I was in shock because I actually walked in the bedroom where they were and got my suitcase from under the bed. I even said, "Excuse me," to the girl my boyfriend. I went to my closet and threw a bunch of clothes in the case, and all the while he's constantly talking. I can't remember everything he said, but I distinctly heard him say, "I wanted to surprise you, we wanted to spice things up in the bedroom." I didn't say anything and left and came to this hotel. We've discussed having a threesome in the past, and I even said I would possibly be open to it at some point in the future. I told him I found the idea exciting, but that we would need to discuss things and find the right person if it was actually going to happen. I never wanted him to just surprise me out of the blue. He's been blowing up my phone ever since. He's left several voicemails and sent about a dozen texts. He said things didn't go like he imagined, but he thought it would be sexy to have a spontaneous threesome. He said he was trying to fulfill my fantasy. I've been crying for the last 3 hours. I have no idea what to think at this point. I think he's lying to me, but what if he really thought he was doing what I wanted? Is it possible he's just that clueless? Please help. How can he try to fulfill your fantasy and not actually be lying if he didn't know you were coming home? Girl, please, just stop lying to yourself. Stop trying to gaslight yourself and letting that piece of shit get into your head. No, he wasn't trying to surprise you. You just caught him cheating, and that remorseless is trying to convince you that it's what you wanted all along. Like, you don't surprise your partner with a threesome like that. It's not how it's done. If you're in a couple and you want a threesome, usually it works in the way that you'll both find a person that you would want to do it with, then you discuss it with the person, then you make sure that everyone is okay with that, and then you proceed with a threesome. Or at least if it's like a spontaneous type of thing, you all three have to be in the room when it starts so you all can consent to having the threesome. You know what I mean? Like, what the f is this It's baffling to me how he thinks he can talk his way out of this one. It's ridiculous. And the girl was shocked, so she clearly was not warned about participating in the surprise. Anyway, there is an update. Firstly, thank you all for your comments and advice. My gut knew that I had to end the relationship, but I needed a kick in the pants to actually do it. The apartment we live in is actually owned by my uncle, with whom I'm very close. I lived there for free while attending grad school. It is part of a building he owns and was his way of helping me afford to further my education. He has no problem with my boyfriend also living there, on the condition that he help out with managerial duties and repairs around the building. I called my uncle and told him the circumstances, and he called Jack and told him he needs to find a new place to live. He's not on the lease or anything, so hopefully it won't be a legal issue. I haven't responded to Jack in any way since yesterday. I returned to the apartment this afternoon after going to the doctor to get tested for STDs. Thankfully, clear so far. Jack was there. Since he spoke with my uncle, he knew that I was breaking up with him and wanted him out. He immediately tried to argue with me, saying once again that the whole thing had been intended as a gift for me. I just ignored him as I went around the place packing his things. He also said that the only reason he started without me was that he wanted to get used to the two of them together so things wouldn't be awkward when I arrived. Apparently he thought having sex with her first would make the threesome go smoother. I didn't even look at him, just kept packing. I'm proud of myself that I didn't cry. I think I was past the point of crying. He kept blabbering on, saying that he just wanted to test the waters with the other person so that when the time came they could both focus totally on me. The final straw was when he said that I was being totally unreasonable and ungrateful for the effort he was putting into our sexual relationship. I stared at him for a minute and then I just started laughing. I couldn't control it. I must have laughed hysterically for a full minute. He got angry but finally shut up and stopped trying to justify himself. I asked for his key and then told him to leave. I said that he could call to arrange a time to come pick up all his things, but not to contact me for any other reason. His parents live in the same city, so I know he has somewhere to stay. He left looking pretty forlorn. I didn't ask how long he's been cheating on me. Just knowing about the one incident was enough. He's obviously not the person I thought he was. I don't feel like I even know him anymore. I'm still sad, but I'm going to be okay. There is no way I could keep someone like that in my life. Thanks again for all the encouragement and motivation to end it for good. I knew the truth in my heart, but I needed to know I wasn't crazy. Good riddance. I'm really happy that it ended this way because the audacity of this man, unbelievable. He's like, you're ungrateful for all the effort I'm putting into our relationship. I f another woman to better our relationship and you're being a and the top comment here is really funny. Gotta admit, I cheated so things wouldn't be awkward between us was not something I had on my cheaters excuses bingo sheet. True. That's also the first time I'm hearing this, and it is wild. So yeah, I hope you will find love in the future and not with an asshole like that. This next one is, am I the asshole for letting a girl kill me with kindness? I, male 20, was kinda a troublemaker as a kid. I liked pranking my friends, but there was this one girl who was 2 years younger than me in my neighborhood, Stacy, who, for whatever reason, I'd prank a lot more than anyone else. I don't remember most of the things I did, but I remember that whenever the kids in the area would play hide and seek and I was it, I'd always find everyone except for Stacy and then go inside my house and play video games. Lol. I also remember that Stacy has this big collection of stuffed animals and I'd hide her favorite ones from time to time. When she became flustered or upset enough, I'd miraculously find them or put them somewhere so that she'd find them. I will admit that on a few occasions I could never find the toys. The worst thing I probably did was tricking her into locking herself in her parents' shed. I felt bad about this since she has claustrophobia and I toned things down after that. I'll admit admit that all in all, it was some childish stuff that I'm not proud of. I'm especially ashamed of that last one about the claustrophobia, but I guess it's all in the past now. Around the time I turned 13, Stacy's family moved to another state, and I had imagined that was that. Back in October, I saw Stacy on the campus of my uni. It turns out she decided to go to the uni I attend because it has a great bio program. We chatted, and surprisingly, she was super happy to see me. We ended up exchanging contact info and have been hanging out from time to time since then. It's been great, and I really enjoyed the time I spent with Stacy. I never formally acknowledged any of the things I did in the past to Stacy. She brought it up a few times, and I told her that I understood that it would make her feel bad at the time. Because of that, for the past few weeks, I think she's trying to extract some kind of apology from me. In all honesty, I feel like I shouldn't have to, since this is stuff I did as a kid myself and didn't know any better. To get this apology, Stacy has been acting really sweet and has been doing a lot of things for me. She makes me some sort of food at least once a week. I still have some of the tacos she brought me on Tuesday. Back in January, she mentioned something along the lines of killing me with kindness to get back at me for all the stuff I did as a kid. I thought she was just joking, but that's when she really did step up, being much more caring towards me. Lol. However, I increasingly feel that she's growing frustrated with this act. I mentioned it to some of my other friends that don't know Stacy, and most of them think I'm being a since I'm somehow taking advantage of her. Lol. They think this because they assume she'll stop doing all this stuff for me when I apologized. Am I the asshole? You're a face. Lol. I hate people like that. And honestly, if I were Stacy and the person that bullied me cruelly over the years of my childhood refused to acknowledge the wrongdoing even when we grew up, I would straight up poison you. I would not even mind going to jail. What do you mean? Like, you don't think you have to apologize because you were a child? Okay, but she was also a child, and you probably traumatized the out of her. If you feel bad for it, which I don't think he does, you should apologize. But again, I think this whole thing stems from the fact that he doesn't really understand how bad what he did was. And he still doesn't take responsibility for his actions because he was just a kid. And he's like, I guess I felt bad about it, but like, what to do now? Stacy should just leave you unless she poisons you. But that's not advice. Let's be clear. That's not advice. That's just a joke. But Stacy should never ever talk to you again. She should talk to a therapist and have a good support system and forget you ever happened in her life, because toxic people like you don't deserve any attention more than necessary and honestly disgusting. But yeah, no remorse over here. Absolutely none. And actually, this post was removed, but the top comment is pretty obvious and beautiful. You're a TFA, total f***ing asshole, and you're continuing to torment this girl even as an adult. You're just in denial about it. And I agree, dude. Let's see the next story, which comes from True of My Chest, and it is my husband threw out all my backless dresses / tops because I'm too old for this shit now. I feel disrespected, but everyone agrees with him. I came home from work last Monday and I found my husband spring cleaning. He has thrown away all my backless dresses and tops. Everything. I have some beautiful designer pieces in the mix. Rick Owens, Erdem, Acne Studio, Jill Sander, and some H&M limited editions from back in the mid to late 2000s. I cried for days. I asked him why, and he said that I'm too old now for this shit, and that it was the time I dressed more modestly. I'm turning 40 in June. My mom agrees with him. Basically, everyone is. I cannot stand his existence close to me. I would never have dreamt about deciding anything about the way he is because he's an adult and I trust his judgment. They said it is not the same at all. I feel infantilized to a horribly painful degree. Girl, your whole surrounding community is terrible to you. I'm so sorry this is happening, but like, they said it's not the same at all. What the do you mean? You're not his property and you are a grown woman who should be in charge of how she looks and what she does and how she behaves. No, like, actually, I don't even know if I would be able to get past that. Obviously, I'm not saying it would be like straight up divorce for me, but I think this would be a very big turning point in my marriage if I was in my 40s and discovered that my husband doesn't respect my autonomy as a person. I think if you're just a normal, well-rounded adult, it would never even cross your mind to throw out or do anything with other people's things. It's other people's things. You shouldn't do anything to them without permission, without asking first. He threw away your wardrobe because he decided you were too old for this, and he doesn't even feel sorry. He feels fully justified. That man needs a bit of a reality check to like remember that you are a human, not his doll that he can control how she looks. Let's also see what's up with the top comment, because some of y'all wanted more of that. You're almost 40 and you're too old for this now. How about you're too old to be told what you can or cannot wear? You're not a toddler, for fuck's sake. He can f off, seriously. So true. It's like, I don't even have anything to add. Anyway, the next story is, am I the for calling the police on my niece and not telling my sister beforehand? I, 24 female, have a sister, 35 female, who has a 16-year-old daughter. Her daughter has started rebelling and being a teenager. By being a teenager, I don't mean stealing, I mean being mouthy or thinking she is invincible and she knows better than everyone. But recently, she's gotten sticky fingers. She's been banned from the mall in our neighborhood. She was suspended from school for taking a girl's phone, and she's even tried to pawn her mother's wedding ring. I don't like my niece at my house for this reason. I have worked too hard for my things for them to be stolen. 2 weeks ago, I noticed the patio door was unlocked, and I make sure I lock all my doors before I leave. My fiance suggested we get cameras, so we put cameras in the house. Last week, Wednesday, my fiance and I went to go look at wedding venues, and we were gone all day. When we got back, I only had to unlock the bathroom lock to get in the house, so we checked the cameras, and sure enough, my niece and her friends somehow picked the lock to the window, and she was in our house for hours with 2 guys, and they took some money from my purse. They took 2 of my fiance's Rolex watches. They also took my grandmother's wedding ring that she left for me when she passed away last year from cancer. They were eating snacks and watching TV, shoes on our table and couch, just like they lived there and this is normal. I called my sister and told her what happened and told her my niece had 2 days to give me everything back or I'd call the police, and she said she would handle it. Thursday comes around. Nothing. Friday comes around. Nothing. So I called the police, showed them the video, filed a report. I got a call later from my sister crying and screaming that I should have told her beforehand. I told her I gave her 2 days to come up with the stolen items, and I heard nothing back, and I told her I was going to call the police. She's lucky I gave her grace for 2 days. My mom called me and said that you don't have kids, so you don't understand. I told her it doesn't matter if I have kids or not. She committed a crime and brought 2 random people in my house. My safety is in danger. I don't get the whole you should have warned me. Warned her for what? So she could hide her? I don't think I did anything wrong. My sister and her husband said they won't be coming to our wedding, and I told them the invitation was revoked when your daughter stole my things. I've been getting threats from her husband. I want to block them, but my fiance says keep all the evidence in case something else happens. Edit, we do have a security system now. We've changed the locks. We're getting a safe for his watches and the more valuable stuff. We were planning on moving by the end of the year, and none of my family will know where I live now. I don't feel safe here knowing 2 random men know where I live. My fiance also says that we're getting a guard dog. We were already already talking about getting a dog. No, this isn't just for guarding. We wanted one, but we were waiting until we moved. Also, by beforehand, my sister meant like the day I called the police. Also, I have not gotten my things back as of yet. I'm calling around to local pawn shops, checking Facebook, Craigslist, all of it. For all the people calling me names over calling the police, you're also not giving me any other solutions. I did not want to call the police, which is why I gave her 2 days. I don't think any of you know how unnerving it is to have your home broken into. You don't know how unsafe it feels to walk in your home scanning if anything is gone, hearing a creak and wondering if they came back. These 2 random men she brought know where I live. I should feel safe here, but I feel anything but that. If this has been someone else's home, she could have been seriously hurt or dead. Hopefully this was a wake-up call. If she needed money, she could have asked me, not broke into my home with 2 men who are still on the streets and could come back at any moment and do Lord knows what. Oh, wow, yeah, this one is heavier than the other ones, and I think the sister is completely insane. I love how the 16-year-old is just super chill about breaking into somebody's house and robbing it, but I can get it because teenagers can be super dumb. They don't really grasp the severity of a lot of things yet. It blows my mind that the sister reacted this way. Like, your sister calls you and tells you your daughter robbed my house with 2 random men. You have 2 days to deal with it, and then you don't take it seriously. Like, what the she just disappeared and she's like, I'm gonna deal with it. How are you dealing with it, honey? I don't get everyone blaming the OP for calling the police. It is a crime. It's not just like her 16-year-old niece crept into her house and like ate ice cream in there with her 2 best friends from school. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's bad enough in itself because it's a home invasion anyway, but she brought strangers into her aunt's house and they robbed her, and like, it's not $5 of robbery. Excuse me. We're not supposed to overlook the fact that they took 2 Rolex watches and an engagement ring. I don't know how much the engagement ring costs, but I sure as know that Rolex are freaking expensive. Why are we surprised? Why are we trying to blame the victim in here? I hope the OP and her fiance get their things back eventually and move away from this circus. I feel kind of sorry for the niece because she clearly has a lot of issues that need to be dealt with, but her mother doesn't seem capable of doing that, so yikes. Next story. Am I the for refusing to watch my sister's kids with short notice? I am a 24-year-old man guy. It literally says man guy. I'm a 24-year-old man who is happily child-free. I'm a student who also works part-time. I'm pretty independent except for the fact that my parents are contributing the equivalent of $230 a month for my rent. In reality, this means I can afford to have a car. This will become relevant later. My sister has 2 kids aged 4 and 1. They're generally nice, but I don't really want to interact with them beyond the bare minimum. Yesterday around 6 p.m. my sister called me and asked me to watch her kids for the night. Apparently, her husband's parents had been in the nasty car crash and they suspected that her father-in-law had some sort of head/spine injury. I don't know the details, so they had been taken to the ER in an ambulance. I told my sister I couldn't watch the kids. She asked me why, and I told her that I had to go to the gym and work tomorrow, which was the truth. My sister lives 30 minutes away, so if I had to watch the kids, I would need to drive over there and have a really long commute for work. If I had to drop off the kids at daycare, I might even be late for work. Either way, it would be really disrupting for my schedule. I also didn't want to miss going to the gym. I know that it's a pretty minor thing, but routine is very important to me since I'm a pretty busy guy and I had been looking forward to getting a good workout in. Anyways, my sister got pretty mad. She's usually pretty chill, but when I told her I couldn't watch her kids, she just said, "Are you for real?" She told me it was an emergency and that she really needed help, but I still told her no. Then she said, "You're unbelievable," and hung up. To be honest, I felt a little bad, but on the other hand, her kids is not my responsibility. However, this morning I woke up to some pretty pissed off messages from my parents. They live about 5 hours away, so they couldn't watch the kids, and apparently my sister ended up bringing them to the ER. My mother sent me a long text saying that they had raised me better than this and that they thought we were the kind of family that helps each other out. She also wrote that they will no longer be contributing any money to my expenses. They didn't even bother calling me to hear my side of the story. Am I the asshole for blowing off my sister? I know that I didn't go above and beyond to help her, but I don't see how that makes me an asshole. If you look at it rationally, I didn't really do anything wrong, but apparently my family thinks I should just drop everything with a moment's notice to watch some kids that she chose to have. How is that my responsibility? Anyways, looking forward to hear the verdict. Dude, you are a and this was reposted to Am I the Devil, and I'm loving one of the comments here. I bet he lives in a Mojo Dojo Casa house too. That is the vibe it's giving. My dude, you are selfish as you are a terrible brother. It's not that she wanted to go to a bottomless brunch with her girlies and get wasted while you babysit the kids. Her in-laws got into a car crash and are in the ER. And it's one of those situations where I feel like you should have come to her aid. This story specifically pissed me off because these are the people that give us child-free people a bad name. These are the people that perpetuate the stereotype that child-free people are evil child haters and we all want, I don't know, children to die or something, which is not true. It's not true. And well, yeah, he's just a so there you go, and he fits perfectly into the no remorse episode because he just kept going on and on with the excuses. But like, if you think about it rationally, I didn't do anything wrong. So it's like, you know, if you write a comment that he's an asshole and he did do something wrong, kinda, he would be like, but you're irrational. So we're all dum-dums here, and he's the man. He knows what rationality is, and them kids and them relatives. I would really like to see how he reacts when he needs help next time and his sister refuses. That would be fun. But anyway, let's move to the next story, which is actually the last one. How do I inform 29 male, this woman, 29 female, that she is not my girlfriend? I am in a peculiar situation. This woman, we will call Rachel, is under the impression that we are in a relationship. This has been going on for 4 years now. I have never asked her to be my girlfriend, but there was a miscommunication at some point. Now, I won't lie, I played into it a lot and shouldn't have. I did all the couples things couples do, but I never asked her to be my girlfriend at all, or referred to her as my girlfriend. I didn't stop her from calling me her boyfriend or wanting to celebrate our anniversary. In my mind, however, I was single, so when I hear her ask about marriage or moving in together, it makes no sense. I figured she would one day realize I never officially asked her and then realize it before things get out of hand, but she never did. Everything was fine until about a month ago I met this beautiful woman. There's this food truck that isn't far from my house. I asked her for her number and we have hit it off. Things are getting serious and I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend soon. Before I do that, I need to address the elephant in the room with Rachel. This actually has me speechless. I remember I read it the first time and I was just like, wow. And I just saved it because it's a gem, it's a pearl, it's priceless, but I just don't know what to say. This man was in a relationship with a woman for 4 years, but he thinks he's not responsible for anything he did, like acknowledging their anniversaries, like letting her call him her boyfriend and stuff like that, like spending time with her. her because he never officially said the words, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Mind-blowingly stupid. This is mind-blowingly stupid. I feel like this is foreshadowing for an episode of Snapped. Because if I was Rachel, I honestly don't know what I'd do. I feel like I'm referring to a lot of violent urges today, but it's just the mood. It's just the mood I'm having. But like, seriously, guys, imagine y'all are Rachel and you find out that this man that you loved for 4 years, dated, slept with, cared for, didn't think you were in the relationship this whole time. And then also blames you because it's you who are dumb that didn't know that if he didn't say, "Will you be my girlfriend?" the relationship doesn't mean anything. Because like everybody knows that, right? I mean, it's common knowledge. Are you dumb? Mind-blowing. Anyway, this was the last story and I hope y'all enjoyed this bit of unhingedness. I don't know, that's not a word. Let me know in the comments what you thought about these stories, and I will see you with the next episode at some point in the future. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here, though I doubt it. Bye.